talked in spring training, you were optimistic because of the process that you had to get to the off season, being healthy, and all of that. When did you realize that you felt that this was going to be a reality for this level of performance?
I wouldn't say I ever didn't have that mindset. Even when I stunk, I still felt like it was in there somewhere. But I don't know. There really wasn't a moment where it clicked. I feel like this year has just been a little bit different for me in terms of literally just not worrying about anything other than just competing. Getting my work in between starts. If it's good, nice. Go home, go to sleep, get some rest, start it over again. And if it's not good, go home, get some sleep, get some rest, and start over the next day. So just really been focused on kind of appreciating the moment and just trying not to get too ahead of myself and just having a little bit more fun.
Well, that's the thing, right? Having fun.
Yeah, which comes first, right?
Well, I mean, listen, all the things that you've had to go through, I'm sure there's been spurts of fun, but not this amount of fun over an extended period of time, right? Which is a big deal, I would imagine.
Well, yeah, and just, the atmosphere you're in helps a lot, too. We have a great clubhouse in Atlanta, a great staff. They keep it pretty loose, and, keeping it light helps, too.
Speaking of the clubhouse, you're halfway through a season with the Braves. How would you describe what it's like being a part of that clubhouse?
It's a lot of fun. Like I said, we like to have a good time. We keep it loose. SNIT does a really good job of kind of maintaining that level of that atmosphere that we have going. There's just a lot of pros. Everybody in there is just really a true professional. But at the same time, you flick those lights on and the boys get hungry and they get going. So it's been a lot of fun.
I know you had some really nice comments about Reynaldo Lopez making his first All-Star appearance before when we were in Atlanta, but now that you're here, just what do you think about the season that he's been having?
It's unbelievable. I mean, as of right now, he's the best pitcher in the National League. I mean, you look at his numbers and what he's done, just the consistency. You get to this point in the season and your bad start is 3 runs. That's a lot of people would do a lot of things for that. So, and just his work ethic. He's there every day. He's a great teammate. He works his butt off. He deserves this. He earned this in every right. And it's always fun seeing guys make their first All-Star team.
How good does it feel for you to just be back, be healthy, be feeling like you did a couple of years ago? It's
a lot of fun. I just, more so than anything, I just appreciate the people that got me here. It's not me just waking up every 5th or 6th day and going out there and pitching. There's a lot that goes into it. I got an unbelievable strength staff, training staff, coaching staff that does everything they can to get me on that field and to help me get through these games. I've been throwing to really kind of off and on both of our catchers and Murph and Travis. So, and a lot of those games, I mean, you guys can go back and look. Some of those games, they're not me just mowing through guys. It's really those guys kind of navigating me through games with like whatever I have that day. So I'm appreciative of that. My family, staying in my corner the whole time, having my back, through the tough times and being able to experience this with them is a lot of fun.
Chris, if you had to guess, if you made more starts in Chicago or since, what would you think? You made more starts with the White Sox or since the White Sox? What would you guess?
Probably with the White Sox.
It is, by a tiny bit.
Yeah.
It's about even.
Well, buddy, I was not out there for quite a while, so it's not really that shocking.
Yeah. But it's very close. It's like 10 different. But anyway.
Yeah.
How different are you now than you were, let's say your last season there? Are you better?
I think I'm just smarter in a weird way, just kind of better understanding of what I need to do to be successful. And to your point, when I know I'm known as like the always hurt guy now, but I was the never hurt guy before. I think before 2018, I had spent 4 or 5 weeks on the DL. something like that. And, so I took a lot of pride in that. And that's why going through these injuries were tough because, when I first got to the big leagues, it was Mark Burley. That guy was like the gold standard of what it was to be a starting pitcher. And, watching him and just kind of having that in my mind, like, okay, you take the ball every fifth day, you go as deep as you can into games, and you just don't get hurt. And that was just what you did there. And, I think that's why these injuries kind of took its toll on me a little bit more because I just, wasn't used to it, and that's just not how I was wired. That wasn't really a possibility. But through those injuries, you learn, life happens, and you got to get up and get through it. And, I think that in a weird way, it kind of helped me get to where I am today.
You and Lopez talk about what you hit the Sox stuff in common at all? Or, see their record and think it's hard to believe, it's hard to picture.
No, we talk more about the good stuff. We're not here to, trash anybody or anything like that. I had a lot of good times in Chicago, and there's a lot of great people there, and I appreciate it. They got me. They signed me. They gave me my first opportunity to live out my dream. Got me to the big leagues, and it was a lot of fun. So we talk a lot about the people that are there, the people that we cross paths with the same. And actually just talked to Coop the other day because me and Lopi were talking about him, and it'd been a while since I had talked to him, and he's a good one, man.
Nice. The obligatory Red Sox question: did you see this coming? Like you came up with seeing these young players, and now they're evolving. You probably saw a lot of good in these young players.
Yeah.
And so, I guess the question is, did you see this coming for this group?
Yes. Like for me, there's really no surprise. I mean, you look at Tanner, right, and what he possesses in his arsenal, right, and just his body, how strong he is, how big he is. And his just willingness to compete. He's always had that in him. Like, he's always been just a fierce competitor. And I think Bailey's done a great job with those guys, really kind of wringing out every last bit of talent that these guys have and pushing it to the front. And Duran, he might be my favorite all-star here, honestly. What that guy can do on a baseball field is incredible. He's in scoring position on first base. The way he runs the bases, his mentality, he literally attacks a baseball field. There's not 1 ounce of effort he leaves anywhere. I know how hard he had to work to get here, and I know what he went through to get to this place, and I can't stop smiling when I think about it.
That's the thing. There's a lot of guys. Cutter, you talked to Cutter.
Yep.
He credits you a lot. There's a lot of guys that this is the process of becoming a major leaguer. And it's just,
Even Connor. Connor he's had a great year. I was surprised to not see him here, honestly. Raffy hitting homers, breaking seats is nothing new, I guess. Yeah. But no, they have a great squad over there, and obviously, my relationship with AC is probably as good as anybody I've ever met in this game. So he's got a way of inspiring guys and challenging people the right way and bringing out the best in them. So to say I would be surprised would be a lie. I know what they have in that clubhouse. I know who's leading that clubhouse. So there's a reason they're there.
What's your earliest All-Star memory as a kid? Is there an All-Star game, player, moment, derby, pitching performance where you're like, all right, this is pretty cool?
Maybe not specifically, but I've always loved the home run derby. So I don't know what my first year watching it was, but it's pretty special for me now because I was a kid in my living room sitting next to my dad watching it on our TV. And to be able to have my kids sit next to me, obviously not in our living room, but to be here, it's just a wild dream that you never thought would come true.
Why do you love it?
You feel you got smarter in a weird way. In what way? How would you describe that?
Well, it's a weird thing to look at a train wreck and try to think of something positive, right? And that's honestly that's what my last few years has been. It's been a disaster. You can ask him, you can ask Bradford. I mean, it was not good. But through all of that, I learned a lot of things. I went through, a lot of injuries and some tough times, relative to what, people go through tougher times. It's not like, the world stopped turning because my arm hurt, but, in this realm it was tough, and you learn a lot about how to take care of yourself mentally and physically and getting through that and then just kind of managing yourself after something like that and just being a little bit smarter on my day-to-day and in-game process stuff.
What would your wife say it was like to be around you while you were dealing with
I don't think we can say those words. Let's summarize it as not fun.
I just go back to home run derby things. I asked Max the same thing. He says home run derby was his earliest memory.
Yeah.
So for your job is to prevent home runs. What is it about that aspect of the game that's still like, man, that's
Well, let's be honest. Nobody grows up as a kid not hitting the game-winning home run. Like, we were all hitters before we were pitchers, and even as pitchers, we still kind of think we can hit. Especially Max. He's got a couple trophies that prove that, which is kind of cool. Last Silver Slugger, actually, by the way, as a pitcher, which is awesome. But I don't know. It's just the excitement, seeing balls get hit 450 feet when it's not off of you is a lot of fun. And, it's a lot of people really enjoy the home run derby. It's just, it's a fun thing about the game, and it's a fun, they always do a great job with it. So you're seeing the best of the best just launching baseballs out of this place.
we're from Atlanta, so just the guys here. What about the Braves way, Braves culture? What did you learn about that, they say, in the first 5-6 months of this organization?
That I'm thankful for it. I think people talk about getting traded in a transition, and like sometimes it can be tough. But this was a pretty easy transition because of how open the clubhouse is, how relaxed they are, how it's just very laid back, and it was a relatively easy transition because of how awesome those guys are in the clubhouse and our staff is, and it was a good one.
Chris Maddox, Glavin, and Smoltz were together with the Braves for 10 years. They were only on the All-Star team together once. Is it an honor to have 3 Braves starters on the All-Star team?
It is. I think that's a really cool thing, and I think those guys are in a much better spot than we are. But to be mentioned in that, in with those names is always impressive, and you'll always appreciate it. Those guys were the best of the best.
And when you talk about those guys, all those Cy Young awards, you've never won it. You've come close. Are you thinking about maybe this is your year?
I'm thinking about I got a start coming up whenever they hand me the ball, and I'll take it from there.
Pro athletes are trained to always be confident about themselves. But at any moment in your process, rehabbing process, you had any doubt that you would be able to be back in an All-Star game, to be back in an All-Star level?
Yeah, for sure. What an easy road to get here, but through some of these processes, you kind of start thinking, is this even a possibility again? Not specifically getting to an All-Star game, but getting back to like having the stuff you expect to have and being able to compete the way you want to compete. So yeah, I mean, it definitely happened. But again, like I said, I'm so appreciative of the people that I have in my corner, my friends, my family, teammates. Just always being there for me and having my back and kind of pushing me to get back to this spot.
What's the approach in an All-Star game? Like the matchups, how do you scout this?
Oh, you don't. You just go out there and let it rip. Every heater's the 0-2 heater, and every slider you're trying to snap off as nasty as you can. That's about it.
Do you have any ideal matchups you really want to get at this year?
Well, I'm not pitching. I'm just excited to see Skeen start this game because I saw him pitch in Atlanta. You were there. That was impressive. You're sitting 99 to 101. He's got a splitter that's harder than most guys' heaters, and a curveball that just kind of starts in the on-deck circle and finds its way into the zone. So he's got a tough road too. That AL lineup's nothing to scoff at. So just power versus power. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, you've been in different places now in your career that's got fan bases all over, like dominant fan bases.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Atlanta too, it's really real. Based out of Alabama, and we cover the Braves. They're our team in Alabama. Has that resonated with you at all? Now this is your third time at really like a home hallmark program.
Yeah, no, and growing up in Florida, but the Braves, extend down there too. So yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I appreciate having fan bases like that where when you go to the park every day, they're going to be there. It's a packed house, at Truist Park, and us as athletes, we feed off of energy, right? And energy comes from the ballpark, from the fans, and so it's been a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thanks.
Chris, you and Max clicked really quick. I mean, we were like a few weeks into spring, and we were talking a lot about what makes him so special as a teammate.
For me, he just his attention to detail. He's a little bit different than I am in terms of like how he sets up for pitching, and just how he attacks guys. His ability to get out of trouble. He had a start a couple days ago. He gave up. There's a lot of hits going on, and he was a little upset. I'm like, dude, if I give up that many hits, I've given up 14 runs. Like I usually, if I give up like 5 hits, there's usually like 3 or 4 runs attached to it. And just how meticulous he is about his in-between start programs and his scouting reports and how he operates that way is very impressive. So being on the outside or being on the inside and seeing it happen, it's you're not surprised at the success that he's had.
How much would you like to be his teammate over the next few years? We all know that.
That's the business side of it, right? That would be great. It would be a lot of fun. I'd like to see a lot of these guys stick around. I think that's what makes this team special is the guys we have in that clubhouse. And, to keep them around for a little bit longer and have that experience for the next few years would be great.
And you've seen so many guys over the years, and obviously the handle contract here is different, but would you say the way he's handled everything has been about as good as you can?
Yeah, and you can tell, like, it'll never not be there, but he does a great job of just focusing on what he has to do. And we've had conversations about it, and, his job is to pitch. You go out there and do that, everything else falls into place. Nothing bad is going to happen. And he's done a really good job of just really buying into that and not worrying about this or that, last year, next year, whatever. He's got to start. He prepares for it, and he goes out there and leaves it all on the field. And I have a lot of respect for that. I've never been in that situation. I've never been in a contract year or in a free agency or whatever. So I don't know what that feeling is like, but I can only imagine. And he's done it. He's done a hell of a job.
Chris, you mentioned being impressed by seeing Paul pretty recently. I'm just curious what, obviously you heard a lot about the guy, but what stood out maybe in person, just seeing what he's doing?
Well, the first thing you don't realize is how big he is. He's a big guy. And then just watching how he operates on a mound and watching his stuff live, when you it's impressive. It's just pure power stuff, and just how much movement there is. Even on, he throws a 4-seam fastball that still kind of takes off, and it's coming in at 100 miles an hour. So it's pretty special.
Do you have any advice to Ronaldo, just a guy who's obviously kind of turned his career around, not career, but as a starter to be able to do this? I'm curious if he's asked for any advice going into this, or also just what you've seen from him and his ability to move from the bullpen to see this.
I think he's done a great job of being able to kind of, like, his throttle control, right? Like, he can maneuver through a game pitching as a starter. 1 out, guy on second base, it's like he flips that switch, and it's like, okay, here comes 98, here comes my reliever stuff. Throws a lot of strikes. His stuff is disgusting. Like, I mean, you guys see it. He's got plus elite stuff. So being able to just kind of harness all of that and use that, especially not doing it for a couple of years, is tough. I'm a little bit different than me, not, with injuries, but he's been in the bullpen, and it's a little bit different game out there. So for him to kind of slide into this and be the best pitcher in the league is very, very impressive.
How rewarding has this year been for you? You consider the last few years, feeling probably like yourself a little bit. Yeah. Have you had time? Has this given you any time this week?
Yeah, I try not to get too wrapped up in it. If there's anything, I appreciate the people I'm surrounded by, because without them, I'm not here. and I know that, for me to sit up here and say something like I did this or I blah blah blah, anything about myself would be stupid, because there are so many people that got me to this point, that I'm just thankful for them, and I appreciate them having my back and getting me to this position so I can enjoy this with my family again.
Chris, can I give you a mini mic? All right, first hard.
Does this actually work?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Actually, it's pretty good. All right, first question: how many home runs do you think Ozuna's going to hit tonight?
How many is a lot? I don't even know what the new 25 is a lot? It probably hit like 37 then.
Max was telling us that he was hitting batting practice in San Diego, and it was like clearing the field by
He was
miles.
like hitting the ball like off of buildings and things. Yeah, it was wild.
And then on the carpet tomorrow, who do you think on your team is going to have the best outfit?
Landslide, Ozuna. By a landslide.
With those,
Other than my wife, Ozuna.
those little kids coming in as well. And then last question, if you had to ask someone on your team here in the All-Star League for their autograph, who's it going to be and why?
If I'm going to ask somebody for an autograph on the National League side, probably Otani, just because he's the unicorn. You don't see that ever, really. So probably Shohei. Well, I heard Freddie call him the unicorn when he was getting on the bus today. I was like, yes, he is.
I love it. Thank you.
No problem.
Just one question, Chris. If you didn't play Major League Baseball, what do you think you'd do for a living?
If I didn't?
Yeah.
Oh. If I didn't play Major League Baseball, what would I do for a living? No comment. I have no idea. I put all of my eggs in one basket. I never wanted to do anything else. There's no backup plan. There was never a backup plan. It was big league pitcher or I don't know.
Do you remember when DeGrom hit the home run off of you in college?
Yes. We were actually talking about that on the bus too. And I don't think he gets enough credit because that ball, if you look at where it was way gone, like right about here, it was back there too. I think he pulled it too, so he caught it out in front.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you.
Chris, you talked about the clubhouse environment in Atlanta being really special this year. Can you just elaborate on that a little bit? What's made it so great for you?
I just think the guys, like I said, the guys that make up that clubhouse make it a lot of fun. I would say, Travis is maybe like the epicenter of that, along with Ozuna. Oso keeps it so loose, and everyone gravitates towards him. He's always having a good time. He's always playing music, always joking around. Ozzy Albies, I call him like the mayor of the clubhouse. Everybody loves that guy, and he loves everybody. And I could sit here and name off what everyone brings to the table. We'll be here for the next hour, and then you got Snit at the top that just kind of keeps it where it needs to be, and always taking the temperature of the room. But it's an awesome clubhouse to be in.
Obviously, it's seen Max before, but what's impressive the most about his teammate this year?
I'm going to say the same thing I always say about him is just how he prepares, his preparation. As a whole, with not only what he does like in the training room and the weight room, but like how his scouting reports are, how in depth he is for what he's going to throw to who, when he's going to throw it. I mean, you can ask him right now, like, hey, you're facing this team, this guy's on second base, this guy's hitting, you're in the third inning, 1 out, 2-1 count, and he can probably tell you what he's going to throw. And that is just wildly impressive to me.
Just not pitching, but what's the best part of being here? Just,
At the All-Star game? The experience for my family. Like I said, I grew up watching this game with my dad, and my dad's been to all of them with me, and being able to share it with my wife and my sons. I have 3 sons. My oldest son is 14, my middle son is 7, my youngest son is 4. My oldest son remembers a lot of them. My middle son remembers nothing. He was 2 at the last one. and my youngest son, this is his first one. So, being able to experience that with them, it's going to be a lot of fun. No problem. Oh, hell yeah. Let's do it.
Hey, man.
Yes. I'll stay for these guys.
What is happening, sir?
How you doing?
You have long been one of my favorite pitchers.
I appreciate it. You make me look good, too, so I appreciate that.
Well, dude, you always look good. Like, I was just talking to Max, and the thing that jumps out at me is your competitiveness. Like, is that a natural thing? Like, you just hate freaking losing?
Yeah, I've figured out it was either I love winning or I hate losing, and I've figured I hate losing more than I like winning. So, because I expect to win. You show up to the ballpark every day. No one's ever towed the rubber going, I might lose this one tonight. So when you win, you're like, yeah, of course. And when you lose, it doesn't sit well.
Well, you have what I called it publicly, resting pitch face, which means like you're looking at it like I'm watching you.
Can we get that on a shirt?
Yeah, we absolutely can get that on a shirt.
Can you put that on a shirt? Send it to the Atlanta clubhouse, and I will wear that.
Absolutely.
I love that.
Because it is literally like you have this look on your face like you want to kill somebody, and that's like it's not fake. Like that is you're just intimidating dude. Have you ever noticed that about yourself?
Yeah. You kind of have to be.
Kids ever seen this face?
Yeah. Yes, they do. I have 3 sons, so I got to keep them in line. But I say it like this: I can't pitch like I live my life, and I can't live my life like I pitch. You have to have that like proverbial switch that you flip on, right? So when you're in between the lines, it's compete and leave everything out there, and it's go as hard as you can. And when you get off the field, you got to figure out a way to kind of turn that off, because then you turn into something you might not want to be.
What is the best pitch of your career? The Machado pitch? Would you consider that?
That was, yes, for sure.
I jumped up and down.
The whole reason we're here is to win a World Series, and that's the best moment of my career for sure.
Quick slider grip, and then I'll let you go run. Or actually, whatever pitches you want to run through, you can do it. Wherever you
So,
you're the man.
Slider right here.
Okay.
Change up just. So I don't know much about the whole. So 4-seam right here, 2-seam right here. So the seam shifting and all the. I know none of this stuff.
You don't have to. You just have to throw it, and how the laces have to go.
Yes. So guy down with Atlanta, he's not there anymore, but he said, "How do you throw your changeup?" And I showed him. He goes, "Okay, hold it like this, and try to cut it." I looked at him like he had 9 eyeballs in his head. And I threw it, and it was good. And I was like, all right, that might have been a fluke. And I did it again, and it did it again. And I looked back at him again like he had 9 eyes. I'm like, what is going on? Because I've always thought, you get out front and pronate it. And he said, no. Same thing. Get out in front, just come hard across it. And there you have it.
I'm talking to Tarek Skubal about that, because that's how he throws his changeup as well.
Yeah.
He does the same seam shifted wake and cuts his changeup.
Yeah, it was interesting, but it helped, and it's actually been a pretty good pitch for me this year, so I'm gonna keep cutting changeups.
Awesome, dude. Well,
Thank you.
Chris,
Resting
Red Sox
pitch
fan,
face
thanks for
shirts.
having me. Yes.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, man.
Please, need those.
All right, we got him for you.
Thank you.
Good to see you. I didn't get to see while you were at Fenway, nor to ask you, what was it like being back in Fenway for the first time?
It was awesome. Weird, but good. Fenway's always been one of my favorite parks, even when I was with Chicago. And, having a lot of really good experiences there and seeing the guys. I went over to the home clubhouse, said what's up to everybody. So, still look at them like family, and I keep in touch with a lot of those guys still. So it was good.
Like the fan response, what was it? Was there anything special about the fan interaction over the course of
It was awesome. It was great. I didn't expect them to be that nice to me. I've always appreciated the fans. They I think they know where I stand. I've always appreciated them, and I'm, sorry for not living up to what I needed to do. But everybody I saw was like, "Hey man, we love you, we miss you, but good luck, we're pulling for you." So it was awesome. I appreciated it.
Have you been watching Devers from afar and what he's been doing this year?
I saw yesterday he hit a home run and broke a seat, and I'm a little upset that he's not here. That I can't make fun of him for that he's got to pay for the seat. But I saw Peavy over there on on whatever show he's doing, and then as I got a little closer and Duran was on there, and it was awesome to see those guys.
The last one that I'll ask, how much you've worked really hard to be a healthy pitcher. How has it been to be able to take the ball every turn of the rotation, into form at this level?
It's been nice. I just keep saying I'm very thankful to be able to have the opportunity to do it, and I'm very appreciative of the people that got me here to do it. It would be selfish to say I did any of this on my own. I had so many people, friends, family, coaches, teammates, managers, former managers, new managers, really, really doing a lot to get me to this position. And I'm just very thankful for them and very appreciative of their support through all of it. So, it wasn't easy to stay in my corner, and they did. And that's what got me here.
Whole family's here to enjoy this one with you?
Yes, for sure.
Enjoy that.
Thank you.
So you talked to your teammates. Did you get a chance to talk to Vaughn Grissom? I mean, on a sort of a fly.
I met him when I was back at Fenway. I said hey to him, and just quick interaction. Hey, what's up? Nice to meet you. The guys in Atlanta miss him. They had nothing but great things to say about him. So I heard nothing but great things about him.
When you're a young player, you get traded. You could offer perspective on this, right? Especially going to Boston. It's hard.
Y'all suck. No. Not you guys specifically, but you know what I'm saying.
That's my ringtone now. Thank you. But yeah, so yes, so you're agreeing with me. It can be hard when you're
for sure.
Boston, you're traded, and this is a thing.
Yeah, no, for sure, and it's not an easy place to go, but that's what makes it great at the same time, because the fans are so passionate, and that is a double-edged sword, and not only in Boston but anywhere. There are guys that go to Boston and they're gods. They don't pay for drinks. They don't pay. David Ortiz, that guy's gonna have a shrine someday, and he should. And other guys, not so much. And they did the same things. They went to a sports city. They played the game. One of them was really good. One of them was not, and they let you know one way or the other. One of the greatest moments of my life was going through that city on a duck boat.
So what advice, if you were talking, I know you get quick with Vaughn, what advice would you give him?
Just keep chugging along. Yeah. I've heard he's a great human being, he's a great teammate, and he's wildly talented. Injury bug caught him a little bit here and there. Just keep chugging along. Keep doing your thing, keep being who you are, keep playing hard. It'll work out. He'll be there.
Thank you.
No problem.